Sunday, March 8th, morning prayer of thanksgiving for the gift of life. Good morning. This morning is not ordinary. This breath you just took is not ordinary, and the beating of your heart right now is not ordinary. There is something sacred about the moment we open our eyes in the morning. Most of the time we rush past it without thinking, as if waking up is guaranteed, as if another day is simply owed to us. But the truth is far deeper and far more powerful than that. Every morning we wake up is a miracle quietly unfolding. The beating of your heart, the breath filling your lungs, the light entering through the window. These are not ordinary things. They are evidence that life has been handed to you once again. Think about it for a moment. While you were asleep, you had no control over your heartbeat. You had no power to command your lungs to breathe. Yet somehow, through the mystery and mercy of God, life continued within you. The night passed and the morning found you still here. That alone is a reason for gratitude. Some people went to sleep last night and never saw the sunrise. Some plans ended in the darkness of yesterday. But you and I are here today, standing in the light of a new morning. That means something. That means the story of your life is not finished yet. The pages are still turning. And yet many of us wake up already carrying the weight of yesterday. We remember the failures, the worries, the disappointments, and the fears waiting ahead. Before our feet even touch the floor, negative thoughts begin whispering inside our minds. They tell us that nothing will change, that the day ahead will be just another struggle. But the morning itself tells a different story. Every sunrise is proof that darkness does not win forever. No matter how long the night feels, the light eventually breaks through. The sky slowly changes from black to blue, from silence to the sound of life awakening. Birds begin to sing, the air begins to move, and the world starts again. In the same way, every morning of your life is a fresh beginning. It is heaven's quiet declaration that yesterday does not have the final word. The mistakes of yesterday do not have to define today. The pain of yesterday does not have to control your future. When you wake up, you are being given another chance to breathe, to grow, to forgive, to try again, to become a better version of yourself. Sometimes we search for big miracles, dramatic signs, or extraordinary moments to prove that life is meaningful. But the truth is that the greatest miracle often happens in the simplest moment, opening your eyes to a new day. That moment says something powerful. It says that you still have purpose. It says there is still time for healing. It says there are still people you can love, still dreams that can grow, still kindness you can give to the world. So instead of waking up with fear or frustration, imagine beginning the day with a simple whisper of gratitude. Thank you for this morning. Thank you for another chance to live. That small act of gratitude changes the atmosphere of the heart. It shifts our perspective from burden to blessing. It reminds us that life itself is not something ordinary. It is a sacred gift placed into our hands again and again. And when we truly understand that, the morning becomes more than just the start of another day. It becomes a reminder that hope is alive, and that every sunrise carries the promise of new beginnings. There is a battle that most people cannot see. It does not happen on the outside where others can witness it. It happens quietly within the heart and the mind. Every day, many of us walk into the world carrying invisible struggles. We smile, we greet others, we continue with our responsibilities, but deep inside there is a conflict taking place. Negative feelings often enter our lives without warning. Sometimes they come from disappointment, sometimes from loss, sometimes from fear about the future. A harsh word from someone, a failure we cannot forget, or a dream that did not turn out the way we hoped. These moments can slowly plant seeds of doubt within us, and those seeds begin to grow into thoughts that whisper things we were never meant to believe. They whisper that we are not strong enough. They whisper that we have failed too many times. They whisper that our situation will never change. The most difficult part about this battle is that it feels so personal. When negative thoughts appear, they convince us that we are alone in feeling this way. We look around and assume that everyone else has everything under control, while we are the only ones struggling inside. But the truth is that almost every human being faces this same internal struggle at some point in life. Even the strongest people you admire have experienced moments of doubt. Even the happiest faces you see have had days when their hearts felt heavy. Behind every person is a story that includes pain, uncertainty, and moments when hope felt distant. Recognizing this battle within ourselves is not a sign of weakness. In fact, it is the beginning of healing. When we pretend that everything is perfect, the negative feelings remain hidden and continue to grow in the darkness. But when we acknowledge them, when we honestly say, "Yes, I am struggling right now," we begin to bring light into that darkness. Feelings of sadness, anxiety, or frustration are part of being human. They do not mean that you are broken. They do not mean that you are incapable. They simply mean that your heart has been through experiences that have left marks on your soul. What matters most is remembering that these feelings are visitors, not permanent residents. Sometimes emotions can feel overwhelming, like waves crashing against the shore. They come suddenly, they rise powerfully, and for a moment it feels like they might drown us, but waves eventually recede. They pull back into the ocean, leaving the shore quiet again. In the same way, negative feelings come and go. They may stay for a season, but they do not have the authority to define who you truly are. You are more than the fears in your mind. You are more than the mistakes in your past. You are more than the voice that tells you to give up. Within every person there is also another voice, a quieter voice, but a stronger one. It is the voice of hope, the voice that reminds you that you are capable of rising again. The battle within us is real, but it is not hopeless. Recognizing it is the first step toward overcoming it. When we become aware of the struggle, we begin to understand that our thoughts are powerful, but they are not the ultimate truth about our lives. And in that realization, something beautiful begins to happen. Instead of being controlled by negative feelings, we start learning how to face them with courage, patience, and faith. The battle may exist within us, but so does the strength to overcome it. There is a quiet power hidden inside a simple word. Asterisk, asterisk, thank you, asterisk, asterisk. It is a small phrase, often spoken quickly and sometimes without much thought. But when it rises from the heart, when it is filled with sincerity and awareness, it becomes something far greater than polite words. It becomes a force that can change the atmosphere of the soul. Gratitude has the ability to transform the way we see our lives. Many times our minds are trained to notice what is missing. We wake up thinking about the problems waiting for us, the responsibilities that feel heavy, the worries about tomorrow, and the regrets from yesterday. Our attention moves quickly toward what is broken, what is difficult, and what did not happen the way we hoped. When we live in that mindset for too long, our hearts begin to feel tired. Life starts to appear like an endless list of burdens instead of a journey filled with meaning. But gratitude interrupts that pattern. Gratitude gently shifts our focus. Instead of looking only at what we lack, it invites us to see what we already have. It reminds us of the quiet blessings that surround us every single day but often go unnoticed. The breath in our lungs, the beating of our hearts, the warmth of sunlight touching the earth in the morning, the voice of a loved one, the opportunity to begin again. When we begin to notice these things, something changes inside us. The heaviness in our chest begins to loosen. The fog in our thoughts begins to clear. Our hearts slowly remember that life still carries beauty, even in the middle of difficulty. Gratitude does not mean pretending that pain does not exist. It does not ignore hardship or deny the reality of suffering. Instead, gratitude gives us the strength to face those struggles with a different spirit. When we choose gratitude, we are saying, even though life is not perfect, there is still goodness worth recognizing, and that choice is powerful. Because negativity grows strongest in hearts that forget the blessings around them. But when a person begins to practice gratitude, negativity loses its place to grow. The heart becomes filled with a different energy, an energy of appreciation, humility, and hope. Sometimes the most powerful moments of gratitude happen in the quietest circumstances. A person who has walked through illness suddenly feels thankful for a healthy breath. Someone who has known loneliness feels deep gratitude for a simple conversation with a friend. A person who has faced failure feels grateful just for another chance to try again. In those moments, gratitude is no longer just a word. It becomes a deep awareness of the miracle of being alive. And when gratitude fills the heart, it begins to shape the way we move through the world. We become more patient with others. We become more compassionate toward those who struggle. We begin to recognize that every person we meet is also carrying their own story, their own challenges, their own silent prayers. Gratitude softens us. It makes us more human. It reminds us that life is not simply about achieving, rushing, or collecting more things. Life is about experiencing, learning, loving, and appreciating the moments we are given. The more we practice gratitude, the more our perspective changes. Problems that once seemed overwhelming begin to feel manageable. Moments that once felt ordinary begin to feel meaningful. Even the smallest joys begin to shine with a deeper light. And slowly, without even realizing it, gratitude begins to renew our spirits. It lifts our eyes away from darkness and helps us see the quiet miracles that surround us every day. It reminds us that even in the middle of uncertainty, life itself remains a gift worthy of thanksgiving. There are moments in life when darkness feels very close, not the darkness of night, but the darkness that settles inside the heart. It comes quietly, sometimes through disappointment, sometimes through loss, sometimes through a long season of struggle that seems to have no clear end. In those moments, the world can begin to look different. Things that once felt hopeful start to appear uncertain. The mind begins to replay painful memories, and the future suddenly feels difficult to imagine with confidence. It is as if a shadow slowly spreads across our thoughts. But darkness has one important limitation. It cannot create itself. Darkness only exists where light is absent. The moment light enters a space, darkness loses its power. This truth is not only true for the physical world, it is also true for the human heart. Within every person, there is the ability to bring light into the darkest corners of their life. Sometimes that light appears in the form of faith. Sometimes it comes through prayer. Sometimes it grows quietly through hope that refuses to disappear even when circumstances seem heavy. Faith is not the absence of fear. Many people believe that those who have faith never experience doubt or worry. But that is not the reality of the human journey. Faith often grows strongest in the middle of uncertainty. Faith is the decision to believe that light still exists, even when the sky looks dark. It is the quiet voice inside that says, "This moment is not the end of my story." Prayer becomes the doorway through which that light begins to enter. When a person prays, they are doing something deeply powerful. They are lifting their worries, their pain, and their confusion towards something greater than themselves. In prayer, we are not pretending to be strong. Instead, we are admitting that we need strength beyond our own. We are opening our hearts and allowing divine peace to reach places inside us that our own efforts cannot always heal. There is something mysterious and comforting about that moment. When a person truly prays from the heart, the burden they were carrying does not always disappear immediately, but it begins to feel lighter. The soul senses that it is no longer carrying the struggle alone. Hope then begins to grow in that space. Hope is not loud or dramatic. It rarely arrives with grand announcements. Instead, hope is gentle and persistent. It whispers quietly, reminding us that tomorrow can still hold possibilities we cannot yet see. Even the smallest spark of hope can change everything. A single candle can brighten an entire room that was once completely dark. In the same way, one small act of faith, one sincere prayer, or one hopeful thought can begin to transform the atmosphere of the heart. The struggles may still exist. The challenges may still require patience and courage, but the presence of light makes the journey different. Instead of feeling trapped in darkness, we begin to move forward with trust. We begin to believe that healing is possible. We begin to believe that peace can return. We begin to believe that the future may hold blessings that we cannot yet imagine. And when a person carries that kind of light within them, something remarkable happens. Their presence begins to influence others as well. Their strength encourages those who feel weak. Their hope becomes a reminder that darkness never has the final word. Because where faith, prayer, and hope are allowed to shine, darkness slowly fades away. There is something remarkable that happens when a person begins to overcome the negative battles inside their heart. The change does not stay hidden within them. It begins to shine outward, touching the lives of people around them in ways they may not even realize. Every human being carries influence. Sometimes we think influence only belongs to famous leaders, powerful speakers, or people with great authority. But in truth, influence often appears in the quiet presence of ordinary people who choose to live with courage, kindness, and hope. When someone walks through pain and still chooses to rise again, their life becomes a message without words. Think about the moments when you have felt discouraged or tired. Perhaps you met someone who spoke kindly to you when you least expected it. Perhaps someone listened to you patiently when you needed understanding. Perhaps you saw a person who had faced many struggles but still carried a peaceful spirit. Those moments leave a deep impression on our hearts. We begin to realize that strength is not about never falling. True strength is about continuing to move forward with faith even after many setbacks. When people witness that kind of resilience, it awakens something within them. It reminds them that they too have the ability to stand up again. In this way, a single life filled with light can illuminate the path for many others. Sometimes people underestimate the power of their presence. They believe their struggles are private, their victories small, and their journey insignificant. But the truth is that every person who chooses hope in the middle of hardship becomes a living example of possibility. When you choose gratitude instead of bitterness, someone else may learn to do the same. When you choose patience instead of anger, someone else may feel encouraged to respond with kindness. When you choose faith during uncertainty, someone watching your life may find the courage to believe again. Light spreads quietly but powerfully. It does not force its way into the world. It simply shines, and the darkness around it begins to fade. The same is true with the human spirit. A person who has learned to overcome negativity carries a different atmosphere within them. Their words bring encouragement, their actions reflect compassion, their attitude offers peace in situations where others may feel overwhelmed. Without realizing it, they begin to lift the hearts of those around them. Sometimes this influence happens in very simple ways. A gentle conversation can restore someone's confidence. A sincere smile can brighten a heavy day. A few thoughtful words can help someone see their situation differently. These small moments may appear insignificant, but they can change the direction of a person's day or even their life. When we become a light for others, we are not pretending to be perfect. We are simply allowing the lessons we have learned through our struggles to become a source of encouragement for those who are still fighting their own battles. Our pain becomes wisdom, our perseverance becomes inspiration, our faith becomes a reminder that darkness never has the final word. And in this way, life becomes something larger than our individual journey. It becomes a shared experience where each person has the opportunity to strengthen another. A single candle can light many others without losing its own flame. In the same way, when we allow hope, gratitude, and faith to grow within us, we begin to pass that light forward, and slowly, one heart at a time, the world becomes brighter.